I'm Chris Erdmann, and this is Made of More, the show where we go beyond business to uncover real stories that shape entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW, we explore the pivotal moments, the adversity faced, the risks taken, and the resilience found along the way. This isn't just about what people have built, it's about who they've become. If you're ready for inspiration, practical insights, and stories that remind you that you too are made of more, you're in the right place. Welcome to the show, Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdmann, and today our guest is Dr. Singh, a man who's dedicated his life of helping others rise. Over more than 3 decades, Jay has been with the United States Agency for International Development, otherwise known as USAID. He's served across the globe in Afghanistan, South Sudan, Japan, Jamaica, and I'm sure many more other countries. He's guided communities through crisis and rebuilding nations from the ground up. Now, as a founder of the Development Impact Global Group, Jay continues at his mission, connecting capital governments and local leaders to create sustainable impact. And as we speak, he's preparing to head to Jamaica to bring aid, support, community in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, one of the most powerful storms to strike the Caribbean in these recent years. Hey, Jay, I just want to say welcome to the show and making time for this as you're heading out.
No, thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Well, as we're getting into this, I just want to start with your early story and then definitely want to dive into current times and what's happening. Love to start from the beginning. And what was the path that led you into international development?
That's a great question. I'm still trying to figure that out. How do I, I think every turn I've taken has led me somewhere, but it's led me here. I started off my career thinking I'd join the military. I had my three generations of military background, same with my wife. So public service is in our DNA. And so for me, public service was the only way I could look in terms of giving back to people. I've been blessed. So I think throughout my time in my career, I've always looked what's a sense of purpose. It's not about the money at all. It's just money comes when you have a sense of purpose. And I've always have that belief in myself that that's the way to go. Mm. Yeah. And so getting back to the question, what led me here? I did the military route initially, realized I want to do more. Not that the military wasn't more. It just, I wanted to be in the civilian world. And ended up, taking a circuitous route. I started off working on climate issues, did my doctorate from University of Washington on conflict over resources in Africa, and then 9/11 happened, and my skill set of embedding myself in communities, understanding what the needs are, took a different turn, and I got hired by USAID and just basically support conflict management and mitigation. Going to communities, understanding power dynamics, conflict issues. So I spent a career over 2 decades in this, although I began my career back in 93 working with the U.S. Institute of Peace on the first multiracial elections in South Africa. That was sort of my first foray into this world.
Mm-hmm. That's quite the history, quite the start.
Yeah, the thing is, I just remember, when I was after grad school in 1992, 93, we had a recession, and I couldn't find work, and I just volunteered and interned and whatever the case may be, and ended up interning and so I work at the U.S. Institute of Peace, and that sort of led to something better and better. I ended up working on a USAID contract on maternal and child health. It was a $100 million flagship program of USAID, and then I wanted to do more, so I ended up getting my doctorate from UW, mm-hmm. And that sort of opened a whole lot more doors. And while in UW, I was consulting with various NGOs that were funded by USAID, and ended up landing myself as a foreign service officer, mm-hmm. Or a career diplomat within the USAID, and that my career has taken. I've had a very blessed career. It's been challenging, serving in some war zones from Afghanistan to working with Djibouti with the Combined Joint Task Force, Mali, Sudan, South Sudan, being away from my family almost for 5.5 years. That does take a toll, but I think we have a pretty strong family, and we've kept it together. And we've been married 30 years, so that tells you something.
Yeah. I've been fortunate enough to meet your other half, and even your son. Your son's a part of the business too, right? With you and your wife.
Yeah, so it's a family business owner. So my wife was State Department, so she was. So she's been with me most of my tours, except for the war zone tours. She's been traveling with me to all these places, and my kids grew up overseas. So both my oldest son was with USAID. So when USAID was dismantled earlier this year, all of us, and his girlfriend also worked for USAID. So all four of us, my wife also at State, and she took the fork in the road. But we made a calculated decision. I already had enough time to retire from the service, so no regrets from our side. But I'm just trying to get use of skill sets that our family has. So both my boys have development experience, and they're part of the business, and they're part of the response right now to Jamaica. So it's like everything just worked out to serve. And I think for us, service is the highest calling.
Yeah, so it really seems like it. I had really no idea what you've done. Known you for a handful of years here, but it was hard to put my finger on
11 years.
How many years now?
11 years. You bought my house from me here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we worked together on your house. And it was hard to kind of grasp what you did until just more recently, and understanding, especially seeing you getting interviewed on the news to go to Jamaica. But going back to USA, what a big calling for you. And it sounds like serving people was number one. But what did you hope to get out of this career as you got deeper into it?
There's no, people keep saying, you need to be, it's a really good question. I think it's just, there's a fire in your belly about what to do. Serving, there's people all over America who do service oriented things, from feeding the poor to helping the homeless. It's hard to quantify what do you get out of it, except for some joy that you help somebody not perish, and give them ability to live another day and thrive. And I can say, a lot of places I lived in and worked in, from refugee camps in Somalia and stuff, we've done that. Our agency has done a lot of work on keeping people survived and everything. So I think for me, that's reward enough, right? I mean, and so yeah. So I'm not. We didn't come with anything in this world. We're going to leave with nothing in this world. So, why not?
Yeah. So true. I love your perspective. Very humble and grounded for somebody that's done such big things in this world for people. And I just got to say, before we going too far, is thank you for serving. It's you've helped our country and other countries.
Well, the services, and I spent a lot of time with the military. I was part of a counterinsurgency task force in Afghanistan, so I worked a lot with the special forces there. And it's, why do people join the military? It's the same thing, right? It's a life of adventure and service. And I think for me, actually, getting back to the question why, is also, I'm an adrenaline junkie, right? So send me to a place where I would never pay to go. So, and let me do some good there. And a lot of my military colleagues I've served with, we've done some fun stuff together in places that, it's most people never go to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've worked in different countries and cultures, and just curious, what have those experiences taught you about leadership and resilience?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think for me, when you look at somebody who's lost everything, and I look at just the United States when Katrina hit, and when we had this recent one in North Carolina, and I see the news items, and I look at, and my heart goes out, because people are incredibly resilient, and I think we have to make sure we can support that. and so I've always donated to those causes. My skill set is more overseas, and I would love to give back to my country, which is when I left the service, when we got dismantled. That was my calling. I was trying to get American companies to help me, expand into emerging markets, to let our economy grow as well, for create jobs here based on all my connections. I ended up I retired as a senior foreign service officer, and was head of mission in 3 places, and with Charge in Jamaica. So I want to use all that to support our country and our people. And this anyway. So getting back to when you look at these people from anywhere, from the Somalis of Afghanistan to the Palestinians, they've all gone through hell and back, right? So we want to make sure that that we can support them, give them something to live for. It's not about just making them live another day. It's about giving them hope that there is a tomorrow, a better tomorrow. And I think people are naturally resilient. I mean, I think I just feel that all of us, when we face disaster, I was devastated when our agency was dismantled, but I realized I had skill sets to do something different.
Yeah.
But when I see somebody losing the house and stuff, or in the fires, and that breaks your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. You've lived in these other countries, and you got to experience these cultures and understand people are people all through the world. Like we're not that different, even if we have different perspective and culture. Like how and so you have this unique connection to the rest of the world, and this unique lens to look through. Being a U.S. citizen, I'm just curious, like, what would be some advice that you would have for our listeners on just how to get connected more with other people outside, so that they could build empathy and understanding, and feel more connected with people outside of their own community and culture?
Well, we are a melting pot, right? So no matter what people think, we are a melting pot. You and I, we come from different cultures, but we're essentially and fundamentally Americans. Mm-hmm. And I think our ethos is about that. My whole idea of being an American, I wrote an essay when I finally got my citizenship over 3-4 decades ago. I grew up in the U.S., but became a citizen. My father was posted here from the Indian military. Mm-hmm. In the embassy. So when I became a citizen, I wrote an essay of the pride I felt about being an American, and being part of this fabric that is so diverse and so rich in culture. We don't even see that. We just I think more as more Americans travel and see the world and get connected, I think our economy can really contribute incredibly well to other countries. And I think it's just getting out and just seeing the world. I mean, it's a Mark Twain thing, right? We the best education is travel. Mm-hmm. And then if you can't travel, at least read. And I think read and watch shows that open your mind to all these things, and not get bogged down with rhetoric. I think it's an easy thing to do, is blame people, but I just think we as people that we are, I'm pretty fortunate to have somebody like you interview me on this. So
I appreciate it. Thank you. I feel fortunate too. One of the ways that I felt like I could look back into my teenage years, and I grew up, my bloodlines are half German, mostly half Filipino, and various other Asians. But traveling over to the Philippines when I was a bit younger, around 15 or so, I felt really connected to a new culture. One, because I had family there, but two is just spending a bit of time there, and I was living like a local and getting invited into other people's homes and whatnot, and to see how other countries' infrastructure may not be as built up as ours, and to see the joy and happiness that can occur in households that have a fraction of what maybe that we have in America for materials and things. I went into one of my extended family's homes, and after a storm, and literally there was no roof, and two walls were missing. But yet we were sitting in their living room having tea and eating food and laughing. And they said something to me. They're like, "Oh, please excuse the mess. We're just rebuilding from this storm." And it changed my whole perspective on life of being grateful, and it's more of a state of mind, and really helped me connect to just this whole beautiful way of living. Not that we want to live like that, but it's made me feel more grateful, and also probably made me more conservative in some ways of how I do spend my money and whatnot. And ever since then, I had this connection to other cultures outside of the Philippines, and just having this new understanding of an empathy for life outside the U.S.
Yeah, I look at and just like my son has German background, so my kids are half German, half Indian.
Mm-hmm.
I think no, actually, 2/3 German and 1/3 Irish.
Okay.
So there's a lot of mixture. So and I think that's the beauty of our country. But the thing is, when you see disasters like that, I see when I've been into North Carolina or Louisiana, these places that have just lost everything. But people there are just welcoming you with open arms, like, hey, yes, we lost everything, but there is hope because you're here with us to share bread and lock eyes and shake hands and just be there. I think the biggest thing that we can do is be there for people,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what you've gone through. I just think that's our humanity.
Yeah. What are some basic ways that we could say that we could be there for somebody else going through a crisis like this?
I just your presence, and if you can help as much as you can. It's a matter of give what you can. But I think most of all, it's your presence. A lot of times when I was, there were several times when I was in Congo, visiting these villages that have been devastated by these militias and rebels and stuff, and just absolutely nothing left.
Mm.
There was a lot of sadness there, but the fact that you showed up, I think that's the biggest thing, just showing up, and not turning your back on it. And I think that's a value that I've grown up with, just show up. And I think that's the same with my colleagues in the military. The moment we show up, we know there's hope, that people care.
Yeah.
Knowing that people care makes your burden a lot less heavier.
I think that goes for any crisis, any situation, whether you're working with something overseas in another country, or even just at home, even if it's a smaller, more personal crisis, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think as human beings, we're social animals, so we've just got to show up and be there for people. And I just think Americans are extremely caring people, both for overseas and for just domestic. And you see the outpouring of support we had for North Carolina, Louisiana, California fires, and as Americans we show up, and I think that's the beauty about America, is that we show up.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think it's America that's always? No, I don't want to say other countries aren't showing up, but it's from what I've seen,
yeah,
like we show up a lot.
Yeah, they're going to show up too, but our fabric is made from those countries that have gone through stuff.
Mm-hmm.
People have heritage there, so why not? And the thing about America is it's a unique country in that way. It's built on an ethos of freedom but giving, and a lot of countries have this. Germans are Germans, or Italians are Italians, Spanish, but Americans, what draws people to America is the ability that our Constitution is our Constitution of what we have. It allows for a fairly egalitarian society that allows you to thrive, right?
Right.
So I think it's just a different country that way. It's very very unique.
Yeah, I love the fact that you said we're made up of all the other countries. We are that melting pot, and
Yeah.
and so that's great. We're about to take a break, but before that, and you mentioned it a little bit, but I want to hear it straightforward. What inspired you to create Development Impact Global Group after years of public service?
I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
So I'm still young. I mean, I've got a lot of, I still have that fire in my belly. Aid may not be there, but I still want to show up. I want to be there.
I don't know if that's ever going to go away from you. You seem like a passionate person.
It is what it is. We're all different animals.
Yeah, I love it. Well, you've been listening to the show Made of More. We're going to dive into a few messages, but stay tuned and tune back in as we get back to the show Made of More with Dr. Jay Singh.
Man, I love my kids so much. I once sat for 3 hours in the cold rain to watch her soccer team lose by 18 goals.
I love my kids so much, I once used a tube to suck snot out of her stuffed nose at 3 a.m.
You win.
Love your kids? Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat. From toddlers to tweens, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat to find the right seat for their age and size. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hello, I'm Chris Erdmann. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW, I sit down with inspiring entrepreneurs, creative minds, and game changers to uncover the real stories behind their business. On my show, Made of More, we explore the challenges that they've overcome, the breakthroughs that they've celebrated, and the mindset that drives them forward. If you're ready to unlock your full entrepreneurial potential, Made of More is the show for you, because here we know you are made of more. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW.
Real people, real life, real radio. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to the show Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdmann, and I'm sitting here with Dr. Jay Singh with the Development Impact Global Group. Jay was saying he's still young, he's still got a fire in his belly, and that's what inspired him to keep moving forward. He's got more to give back. As you listen to the last segment there, this gentleman's got a lot of compassion and understanding about people, humanity, and crisis. It's for me, it's just like so humbling to have a conversation with you, Jay, and just hear this perspective. Because before it's just been other things about community and real estate. Now we're talking about people, humanity, giving back in actual current crisis like Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica. Can you share with us the situation in Jamaica right now, what it looks like following the hurricane?
Yeah, it's like a giant bomb dropped in the entire country. I mean, communities have been decimated. The storm surge, just came on land, and I think I forgot how much feet it was. I think 12, 13 feet, and went inland for several miles. So a lot of communities along the coast, especially the west coast and Montego Bay and the areas in St. Elizabeth along the western side, is just the Black River is just gone. That river town is gone. There's nothing left. Their hospitals have been everything's been blown out of the water. It's so the toll is incredible. With the power down, water not available because water and power are connected. There's the cleanup is going to take years to help reconstruct. If you look at Hurricane Dorian that went through Bahamas, mm-hmm. that took a fair amount of time, and that was a $3.5 billion damage. We haven't even estimated how much damage is done to Jamaica right now. I mean, you put in perspective, Jamaica is only a small island of less than 3 million, and they get 4 million tourists a year. So the economy is highly dependent on tourism. And so when you reduce that amount of people coming in, that just exacerbates the ongoing situation. A lack of jobs, lack of poverty, and so the president, the prime minister there is incredible. He's been a very inspirational leader for me. I've worked with him in the past when I was head of mission in Jamaica, and his team, his ministers around him, have all sort of stepped up and helped at least alleviate the destruction by really pounding on the fact that be prepared and evacuated certain areas. So they were not unprepared. And the nice thing is, USAID and our government helped prepare them for that to some degree with our trainings and stuff. And then Hurricane Beryl last year, we were prepared for that, and so we had some lessons learned. So yeah, the devastation is immense. Luckily, Kingston, the capital, is not as damaged as the rest of the country is. But you had 185 miles per hour winds. That's the same sustained winds that Dorian had in Bahamas.
Yeah. This makes me think about a couple things. It's, you said the Bahamas, it was what, 3-point-something billion to recover from that or to fix the infrastructure.
That was a damage cost.
That was a damage cost. So, and then the cleanup. So what was the total with the damage and cleanup?
I'm not exactly sure the numbers, but it was in the billions.
Yeah. So it just makes me wonder, like, I don't think any country would necessarily be prepared to handle writing that type of a check. So what happens with a country like Jamaica? Like, the economy is stopped because it's a tourist economy, and all these villages, and we don't even really know the count of the people that are missing or have died so far, because we'll get into that, because there's a lot of small towns that haven't been accounted for right now publicly. I listened last night and just heard Nate talk about it. Everybody thinks it's 19, but the number could be
we haven't even scratched the surface on our assessments yet. They're just starting off right now. Mm-hmm. So our team, when this was happening, I was approached by a couple of NGOs, and these are what they call last mile people that basically trying to get to the people who need most. And Haiti Air Rescue, Got Lift, that's a nonprofit, and Medicorps. They all have air assets, helicopters and planes that have been donated, and pilots. So basically, they approached me to help them get access to the country, to the leadership. So we were pre-positioned. We got there as soon as we were able to land yesterday, and we're embedded now with the government of Jamaica through the military to get out there with our helicopters and our planes. So my team's out there. We're working. Haiti Air Ambulance has been an incredible partner. They're leading us with this, and Medicorps. These guys are incredible. I'll give you some names. John Lyons is the head of Haiti Air Ambulance. He was a Peace Corps volunteer in Jamaica, so this is personal for him, and it's for me too, because I have friends who are there, and since I lived there for a while. And then Nathan Bates at Medicorps. That guy's he's amazing. He's a pilot. He's taking helicopters down to there, and they're providing immediate relief to people, places that people can't reach, places that a lot of people can't reach. And we're supporting the JDF now that our U.S. team is also reached. So we're all in sync right now. So it's incredible to see that. But you got to say, Jamaicans are very resilient people. Of all the people I've known, all the countries I've served in, and there's quite a few of those, I find Jamaicans a particular breed of resilient people that, they will stand up, and very proud, very patriotic. I've never seen a country that is so, it's just, it's one of those countries where you have to fall in love with, right? I mean, no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's the whole ethos of one love, and out of many one. Mm-hmm. The two mottos that I live by have inspired me to do what I'm doing, because I got to tell you, you cannot not fall in love with Jamaica, and the society, the diversity of the society, the lack of who cares what you look like. If you're a Jamaican, you're a Jamaican. That's it.
Love that. That sounds like a beautiful culture. I've not had the privilege of going there yet, but it's definitely on my list in the future.
Yeah. So it's hard not to give back. I mean, for me, it's just it's an honor and privilege to serve them. They've given us so much. I mean, look at some of the key people. Colin Powell was Jamaican American. Governor Westmore is Jamaican American. Mm-hmm. Or background, at least. He was born in the States. His parents were Jamaica. I mean, Judge Chutkan. I mean, there's just so many key people in the United States that have Jamaican background. So they've given a lot to our economy and our society, mm-hmm. and they're our closest neighbor, Yeah. And if you can't help the person next door, and what are you?
Yeah, what are you? It's going to feel a little empty if you're not able to help somebody next door.
Yeah.
You talk about rebuilding the infrastructure, and you're saying how resilient the Jamaican community is, but how do you once the infrastructure is getting cleaned up, and how do you rebuild the community?
So it's going to take investment. So the good thing is there's a lot of Americans, and I also put a plug in for American Friends of Jamaica. It's a group of former U.S. ambassadors who formed this group, along with some serious people with money who have connections to Jamaica. They've all stepped up. The next phase is once we get there's three phases, right? There's the response, what we're doing right now, then there's the recovery, cleanup, and everything, and then the reconstruction part. Mm-hmm. So with after every devastating impact, there is the chance to rebuild. So this hurricane is worse than they had in '88 with Hurricane Gilbert. That was a Category 3. This was a Category 5. So you can just imagine that took a long time. But now, I think with this, if we can get our companies and our businesses to really look at Jamaica as a place to invest in the economy. It's an economy that's actually done really well for itself. Their debt to GDP ratio is one of the world's best. It's like 69%. Mm-hmm. Ours is 3 times that. So they are they're well capitalized. So I think that they will be ready to go. And we're using all our connections, diplomatic and commercial, just to be there and find ways to invest and improve the economy and the infrastructure. This gives us, as Americans, to give back in a big way, while also, working for us. It's a mutually beneficial thing. But I think that, not to sound Machiavellian about it, but I just think there's an opportunity to rebuild, build back better, and I think that's what we want to do is. The hotels have a lot of American investment, so there's so we are connected, and we're gonna rebuild, and it's going to take some time, but I think there's an opportunity here in disaster. There's a phoenix that's going to rise from the ashes of this disaster, and so it's easy to lose hope and sort of wallow in the misery, but we want to make sure that we can, and the government is actually doing phenomenally in this. They're reaching out, going door to door. They want to make sure that people know there's a future, and I think that's the key.
Yeah, no, I love that you're saying this is a phoenix in the rising here. There's opportunity from this disaster for everybody. Oh,
involved. By the way, our operation. If you go into my website, devimpactglobal.com, our operation is called Operation One Love, after the Bob Marley song.
Yeah.
So we have branded ourselves. So if that's the thing, and you can go to our website and you can donate specifically to the 3 NGOs that I'm working with. Not to me, I don't need the money.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is providing services. But the 3 NGOs that are providing air assets, they definitely need the help. So you go to Operation One Love. We've branded that, and we're happy to share any of our materials with people. Yeah. And we're already getting people pouring in with their support, and we'll probably end up getting support from the U.S. government as well. And but yeah, we're going to be there for the long haul.
Yeah, I looked at your website last night. It's really, really well done. Communicates really well. Yeah, so you're not getting any money here. It's going straight over to.
I'm not. So NGOs. For me, I don't. I'm a private entity, for profit, a public interest for profit. So it's not. It's so basically, I don't want people to donate to me at all. Please don't do that. It's to the 3 NGOs, and let them use the money for fuel and pilots and the planes.
Do you have any idea how much money you're trying to raise?
We would like to get 1 to 2 million that'll get us operational, because planes are expensive to run for the next 2 to 3 weeks. We have about 5 planes right now, two helos, and maybe a third one coming on board. And then we have a Boeing 737 that's ferrying cargo back and forth, along with 2 smaller fixed wing that can land in short runways to places that need the help.
Seems very, very doable. I'll be donating to that.
Anything counts. I mean, it's not about the amount. It's about, again, just showing up and caring.
Sure. And then, can people come and show up to Jamaica, or?
So that's a different story, because they're inundated right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go show up and volunteer, that's great, but just make sure you're connected with a group that's actually doing it, so they can plug you into something. Don't go and then look for things. You can reach out to us. We can put you in touch with people. Right now, our major focus is getting the assessments done and getting critical medical support to people that need it the most. And then the other thing we're doing, which is great, where Starlink is giving us a whole range of equipment to connect communities, because they've been totally disconnected. So we've got Starlink along with some power generators. So we are reconnecting the country through internet, so people can rebuild that connectivity. Yeah. So that's our focus: is the medics, the connectivity, and then getting shelters out.
Okay. And then if people do want to join, and do they just contact? What's the best way to contact you? Is it on the website and just?
Yeah, they can see the website, and then we can find a way to sort of funnel them to people. But I think the best way to do is right now, Jamaica doesn't need. There's no place to stay. I mean, so it'd be adding more to the thing. I think it's best that you provide resources for the people who are already there to do their work. And the thing is, there's going to be work to be done no matter what. So I think for right now, let's just get the ability to move out and provide people communication. But the other thing we're trying to connect hospitals that have lost connectivity, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure we can connect the communities, we can connect and get them the medical supplies they need, and also provide temporary shelter, given the fact that a lot of people just don't have homes. I think it's about close to 250,000 plus that don't have homes. So that's our bigger priority. And I think over time, there will be a lot of volunteer opportunities, or even opportunities to serve when the country's a little more cleaned up and ability to absorb people to come in and help. So I think just, this is not a 1 or 2 week event. This is going to be a longer term thing. And I encourage people, to contribute or just, get out the word.
Yeah. Share the word across social media, call people.
Yeah.
Donate.
And it's just not us. And then there's other people too, the Catholic Relief Services, there's CARE, there's others who are also involved. We were just fortunate that we had our air assets in Miami that we were able to deploy as soon as the airport opened. And then I was able to, work with the government to get access for our planes to land.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about food? What about food distribution right now? How's that working out?
So that's ongoing. The one of the biggest things I've heard from the private sector in Jamaica is, please don't send commodities. They feel that if you want to do something, invest in the private sector there, the companies, they want to rebuild their economy. And when you send commodities and stuff, it ends up creating a glut in the market that does not help the local economy. So one of the things we want to do is, create a supply chain to support the businesses that they can then sell and, support the communities. Otherwise, I've done this in many places, Angola to Mozambique. We just flooded places with, clothes and stuff and items that ended up just devastating the economy, that people couldn't sell them.
Sure.
And then so I think the best way to do is just do the cash and then volunteer and do what you can to help. But on the commodities, the government has been very clear. They have a website. These are the things they want. If you can donate to those things that they actually need, it's better. But then they're better off, because they've built a pretty resilient system. But again, a Category 5 storm devastates those things. But they've got a great plan. They've got a system. You can donate to that website. And that'll be a great help, because then we can a lot of us who are collecting that stuff can then ship it over, and that
Yeah.
makes much more sense.
Okay. Well, you've been listening to the show Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdmann, and we're sitting here talking with Dr. Jay Singh, founder of Development Impact Global Group. Stay tuned. These few messages, and we'll get right back into it with Jay Singh.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative,
and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Are you ready to discover remarkable stories of resilience and cultural connection? This is Diaspora, a show sharing the journeys of first-generation immigrants from the Indian subcontinent now building their lives in North America. Inspiring, insightful, and always engaging, Diaspora offers a unique perspective on the immigrant experience. Join me, Aditya Mehta, my guests, on the Diaspora Show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. right here on KKNW.
There's a reason they invented the internet. It's called 1150kknw.com.
Welcome back to the show Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdmann, today, and we're tuning back in with Dr. Jay Singh of DIG, Development Impact Global Group. So Jay, so leading through uncertainty and crisis, what qualities do you believe matter the most as a leader?
Humility. You just don't know enough about what the situation is, and you got to rely on people around you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think the more you can have good people around you who are diverse in their backgrounds and their understanding of it, better off you are. So I always had teams that I always made sure that I had a team that represented the problems that I wanted to deal with. And this just be humble to accept what they tell you, and then create a narrative of a strategy around that.
Yeah, humility. When I see leaders, and when I think about you, I think what a humble guy, and has so much experience. And I've been in rooms where somebody with as much experience, you could be pointing your finger everywhere, but and just kind of barking. But you really have a good nature about you, and you're a solid communicator in a way that's really easy to listen to because you're that humbleness. Where did you learn that from?
My family, they don't let me live it down.
Yeah, tell me about that.
When you're married for 30 years and you're basically your voice is not the only voice in the room.
Yeah,
you learn really quickly that it's. I think marriage helps you compromise with yourself.
Sure.
And I'm just being a little facetious there. No, but I just think you learn the hard way. And there are times when I was when I was younger, I was more arrogant,
mm-hmm.
and I had people around me, mentors around me, who took the time to take me aside and tell me how to say it a little better, write better about it. So I credit a lot of my mentors to shape who I am right now, and just focus on breathing. You don't know everything, and you'll never know everything. But if you can trust the people around you, you can get there faster.
Yeah, that's so true. If you could let those walls down and just trust, like what's a good way of getting there in your experience? Is it making sure, because you're not in control always who you're working next to in your field?
No, you're not. I think that's the thing. We get so hung up that I've got a job and I want to do this. I want to be. This is, you want to. I think a lot of people try to prove themselves. And yes, when you're younger, you want to prove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think to me, as a now lesson learned is just listen more, and then just breathe. I think once you understand what the problem set is, and when you do speak. Mm-hmm. You speak after listening to everybody, and that helps put things in perspective. yeah, I sometimes I do end up jumping the gun because we're in a situation where I need to make a decision, and I always like to have people around me that can pull me back and, hey, don't do that. And I for me, my ego is when you serve in these foxholes with our military colleagues and stuff, and you learn that your ego is not existent. It's you're in this together. So for me, I've seen great leaders, and I think the best leaders I've had are people who can listen, are empathetic, and they could be arrogant, but as long as their arrogance is tinged with the ability to listen and take what they're listening into account and move forward. And I think the biggest thing, just recognize people around you. Just people, your job's not going to go away. Right. You just if you just don't put yourself out there in a way that foreign service as a diplomat, we're all type A, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're type A, you go to our interviews and stuff, everybody's trying to prove themselves. I'm the best guy in the town, and I'm the best diplomat out there. So
sounds like a lot of headbutting.
A lot of headbutting. So our industry, our core, our diplomatic core is all about, type A personalities who are trying to prove themselves. Mm-hmm. And over time I realized that's just, you're getting paid no matter what you do. Yeah. And as long as you be recognized more if you just sit back and provide the feedback in a way that people will listen, written or verbal. I think written oftentimes it helps when you can write to somebody, hey, I think I saw this and this is what I think, and just not embarrass anybody. I think my biggest lesson is just don't, there's no need to put people down,
and maybe don't call them out in front of everybody.
Yeah, don't call them in front of anybody. And the thing is, if there's something egregious, then of course, yes, you want to call them out. But at the same time, talk them aside. I mean, we always learn to take people aside and say, hey, this is what I expect of you.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think leadership is a complex thing, right? It's not genetic; it's learned. And I learned, after 30 years of doing this stuff, I've learned that it's just better to listen and provide feedback as much as you can. I don't know. It's one of those things where, we have in State Department, we have things like we have leadership courses. And I think for me, one of my best leadership courses I did at State Department was for senior foreign service officers. And it was called Leading Strategically. Mm-hmm. And it was, the first week was taught by these two former CIA officers who had between them 40 years of experience. And basically they said, look, when you're in the field and things are happening, you got to have a sense of humility to understand and take in everything before you make a decision, right? And the same thing with special forces guys. They don't pull a trigger unless they really, really have to,
Right. Yeah.
So it's about thinking. So things like, what is we get so stuck in our bureaucratic nonsense, but what they taught me in that course was, when you talk to a team, you got to give them a sense of purpose.
And how do you do it? What's the best way to do that?
So, like for example, I won't name the country I was in. They were when I took over as the head of mission, they were just doing the same thing over and over again. There was no sense of purpose, and like, yeah, this is what we do. So we came up with a slogan. I was like, why are we here? Like for example, Toyota started doing these new slogans. Instead of we make cars, we move people. That's a sense of purpose. We want to move people from A to B, right? So that's the sense of purpose. So in this case, I said, okay, to my mission in this country, what is our purpose here? Why are we here? Okay, yes, we want to do humanitarian stuff. It's also about building a partnership. We said our slogan became, we are here to build an enduring partnership with this country. And I took the word development out because I think development tends to be a little pejorative, even though it's in my company name, but it's a different type of connotation. But for us, it's an investment. When we go to countries and do stuff and support them, we're investing in that partnership and that friendship, and we want to show that we care. But also, we want to make sure our companies have access to their markets, and vice versa, they have access to our markets. So it's an investment. So everything we do. So as a leader, you want to say, this is our purpose. We want to make sure people understand that we are here to invest in our partnership and friendship with you. to build those ties. So when things happen, when we can all work together on that. So that's kind of where I was going with. You got to feel a sense of purpose. I mean, I look at companies that have done really well for themselves, and you look at the slogans and logos, they change, change based on the leadership. And I've seen some really good slogans about what these companies are doing.
Yeah, that's great to point out. Like, I love that. Dean, I didn't even realize that Toyota didn't change their slogan to.
That was a while back. I'm not sure what they are now, but that was a while back. And then British Petroleum, for a while, changed their logo from British Petroleum to Beyond Petroleum, because they were doing solar and other alternate energy stuff. So companies do things that just create a sense of purpose to when they want to do more.
You got me thinking, because I'm working on another business right now, and we're talking about, what is the tagline? What's this next tagline going to be? So this is perfect timing for me and anybody that's listening about trying to restructure and their kind of their North Star for their business. We only have a few more minutes here, so I want to ask you a couple more questions. What does the phrase "made of more" mean to you and your journey?
I think I'm glad this is in Washington State, because I think Washingtonians are made of more. We're not just they're not just Americans. We are Americans with a purpose. If you look at University of Washington, I think University of Washington has 25% of the people who apply for Fulbright are from University of Washington. I think, and then the same number of Peace Corps volunteers are from Washington State. So we're a pretty global group. We do give back. And I think that's the ethos of the state. And I love the state. I love the logo that we're evergreen, because we're never going to give up. We're going to always be there. So I think that's, for me, what made of more means to me.
Oh, I love that. Bringing it back to our home state here.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. What kind of legacy do you hope to leave through your work? We're all expendable, right? At the end of the day. And so the legacy is going to be, we left something that people can take on and move forward with. And doesn't matter if you're there or not, at least we left a platform or framework for someone to build off of. And our success is based on their success. Our success is based on their success. So success is cumulative. So whatever we do is leave something that people can take and succeed with. Yeah, it's like we're doing our own building blocks to continue.
Yeah,
somebody else can keep building on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about hoarding wealth per se. It's about just we're going to die poor, no matter what. But I just think we can leave a legacy of service behind, and that people don't never forget that.
Yeah, I love that. This ties back into your humility. It's just like, it shows from the beginning of this interview to the rest of humility is, and thoughtfulness seems like one of your top North Stars for your leadership style. And,
I just think, we're just human beings. We're on the same planet, same boat. Let's not just get hung up on stuff and accept each other, and that, love and compassion will always rule the day.
I've learned something interviewing with you here today, and with somebody out there that's making such a big difference and changing lives and lifting people up through crisis and beyond, and you're coming from all these different angles. You're doing all these things and bringing these groups and thinking about building economies together, building partnership together, building alliances together, stacking the bricks for somebody else to continue your journey when you decide to move on from this duration of life.
When I croak.
Oh yeah, when you croak, yeah, it sounds like you're never giving up. But with somebody that's doing so much, also having nothing to prove.
There's nothing to prove. I mean, you do this for yourself, but at the end of the day, if we keep focused on the external, but it's the internal thing. I love Buddhism, because Buddhism is about your own journey, right? It's not about anything else. It's your sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And if you are doing this, and this what you're doing makes you happy, And yeah, you make a little living out of it. That makes you at least have 3 meals a day. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay. You know,
I love that. I love that. You're very zen. I got to say that. Yeah, we got about 1 minute here. Again, I just want everybody to know the best way to contact you.
Just go to our website, and then you just contact me on a website.
Say the website again.
It's Dev Impact, so DEV Impact Global.com.
Okay, so anything that you want to do with help, whether it's Jamaica, another crisis, or figuring about how to donate money, or other groups you might be interested in, Jay Singh's says he'll be a resource to you. Is that right?
Yeah, especially for the Jamaica part, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there's companies out there that want to access markets that we have access to countries like from Africa to Middle East to South Asia and Asia, we're happy to help with that.
That's wonderful. Well, I could keep asking you questions and listening and learning, but I just feel like we have to call it an end at some time, unfortunately. But I just want to say thank you so much for taking your time to be on KKNW and the show Made of More. I know you're busy. You're getting ready to fly out on Monday here, and it sounds like some of your team is already deployed.
First of all, I can't thank you and your show and Nate, your producer, enough for including me on this. And so I really thank you, Chris, for reaching out. I just think we just can't take ourselves too seriously, So I just want to say thank you to all who are listening in and are hopefully, we're in it together.
Yeah, we're in it together. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Made of More on KKNW. Whether you're on the road, at the office, or listening from home, keep chasing what lights you up, keep building what matters, and never settle for less than the life you were made for. You are made of more. More purpose, more impact, more joy. Made of More is part of the Speaking Current network of shows and podcasts, all of which that are dedicated to inspiring listeners to build lives of meaning, connection, and value. You can find the Speaking Current network of shows, including Made of More, wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us on YouTube. Until next Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW, I'm Chris Erdmann. Stay bold, stay inspired, and stay made of more.